Buena sociedad, estamos en lo que sería el epílogo, el final bueno de Baldur's Gate 3 Modo Deshonor. El final que yo no quiero. Pero quiero el logro, así que toca hacer de buenardo para ver el epílogo. Ordenarle al cerebro que acabe con los renacuajos y luego se autodestruya. Si eliges dominarlo no hay epílogo.
The pain rips through you, obliterating all thought, all feeling. Silence. For the first time in a long time, your thoughts are entirely your own. And then, gravity.
Pues vuela, soy un de esto, puedo volar. Espero que haya epílogo. He visto este final, pero no en el modo de estoy sin epílogo, porque obviamente me lo pasé cuando compré el juego, cuando salió el juego, y lo compré cuando salió, obviamente. Ay, pero este final no es canon, el canon es donde yo soy el mente es que domina.
Everything you did, everything you sacrificed, it was worth it. For this.
should have learned to bloody swim. Can't believe I almost drowned at the last hurdle.
My powers, they're draining. Just like Mizora said they would. A small price to pay in the grand scheme of things.
We did it. The Netherbrain is dead.
My mind is clear. Its burden lifted. When the Netherbrain died, the tadpoles died with it. No offense meant, of course. I can never forget your sacrifice for us. For the city.
Está bien, me gusta en lo que me he convertido.
And rightly so. You are better now than you have ever been.
If it wasn't for you, we'd be thralls, dead, or who knows. This is your victory.
Skvar, you may have succeeded, but I have failed. Gith's son is dead, and Vlaakith has abandoned me. I will be hunted by her Inquisition to the ends of the world. I must leave. I have nothing more to gain by being here.
Nos hemos enfrentado codo con codo contra un ciberneros, hemos ganado, es que no significa nada para ti.
You helped my people end the Grand Design. For this, I will remember you. But I will not forget what you have cost us. I watched you consume his mind. I will remember the fights we fought together. But my next fights will be without you.
Pues devuélveme el equipo. El equipo es mío.
Now there's a sight to see. Not that I'll miss them.
With the Githyanki gone, there's nothing left but the silence of the city. Smoldering, waiting to be rebuilt. You are a mind flayer, the very thing you sought to eradicate. Whatever self you possess is quickly ebbing away. Your friends and enemies alike are ripe for manipulation. And if not manipulation, then consumption. Soon you will not be able to trust yourself at all. You will be a monstrosity beyond redemption. Or not. Perhaps you are unique among illithid kind. Perhaps you will retain enough of who you are to resist your nature. A rogue mind flayer. Like the Emperor. The risk is certainly yours to take. Will you?
Ahora eres una totalmente, nunca habías gozado de tal sabiduría, de tal fuerza, de tal calma. Abrázalo todo.
Your fate will be what you make of it. Now you are your own master. But it seems that Gale's mind is elsewhere.
The crown. It's somewhere in the Chiontha. If I salvage the stones, I could retrieve it. Perhaps even wield it. With the crown in my hands, I would be unstoppable. I would be more than the greatest wizard who ever lived. I would be a god.
Buena suerte, Gale, no te olvides de mí cuando seas un dios.
It's I who should be saying such things. Do not think I leave you without a heart as heavy as your own. But I owe it to myself to follow where destiny leads. I'll never forget you. That I promise. And if you ever felt differently, there'll be a place waiting for you in the heavens.
Farewell, Gale. I hope he still remembers us little people, once he's secured godhood. Though he may have to contend with Mistra before that's a foregone conclusion. As for us, well, The future awaits.
So, what's next for us? The world is our oyster, and she has many pearls we can choose from.
Quiero el epílogo, el epílogo, el epílogo. Me quedo en la ciudad. El mundo le vendría bien contar con unos otamentes que tenga buenas intenciones e intelecto de unos otamentes.
It's true. Whatever benefits one Illithid could bring will only be doubled when there are two.
Just remember who your friends are, will you? In case you start to become, well, you know, hungry. I honestly don't mind what we do once we get to the... Ow! What the... Oh, no. Oh, God. Well, it was nice when it lasted. Ah! I'm sorry. I have to go.
Astarion's days in the sun are behind him. The best you can hope is that he finds darkness and the comfort it once gave him. Knowing him, he probably will. Comfort was always one of his specialities, especially when it was his own.
Their concerns are so trifling, are they not? Look at you. You're glorious. The greatest ally I could have wished for. You know, this partnership doesn't have to end here. You and I could do wonderful things. We could rebuild the Knights of the Shield and run it together. What do you say?
Que eso también es devorarle el cerebro. Somos exactamente debemos pensar a lo grande.
Have I ever told you how much I enjoy you? Lead the way.
It's hard to say what your companions make of you now. Their faces betray only confusion. Though one face is notably missing. Karlach.
Karlach va a morir.
Did it, soldier. The city's going to be all right. And so are you. Engine's finally cooked. Held on just long enough. So, how'd I do?
Está espectacular en todos los sentidos.
So are you. My friend. My companion. I adore you. Careful! Hot! I never gave up. I did my best. I did my best. It's the one thing I can't beat, isn't it? I wanted to live in my city with my friends. But life is for the living. And I saw... Goodbye, son. Goodbye, sea. Goodbye.
No, Karlach, no pienso permitir esto. Vas a ir, vamos a volver a ver lo tuyo. Adiós, Carlach.
I'm ready. I stand back. I'm going to.
Soy inmune al daño de fuego. Uy, quito el esto.
It's over. And it's all because of you. You, who were destined to become a thrall. Thanks to you, there will be no Illithid Empire, no Death God's tyranny. You have earned your place amongst the legends of the Sword Coast. You are the saviors of Baldur's Gate.
Vale, esto es nuevo.
Last night was an experience. But I don't think you've changed quite as much as some might think. I'd recognize that vigor anywhere. It sounds like the city's trying to get back on its feet already. Normal life is returning. Which means things are about to become decidedly more difficult for you. Perhaps you could wear a mask. Say you're a leper, or have taken religious vows to conceal your face.
No puedo ocultar lo que soy.
No. And I wouldn't ask you to, in truth. You're living proof of the sacrifice you made. But I fear others may not see it that way. After what this city's been through, people will scarcely tolerate cuttlefish at the fishmonger's stall, never mind a full-blown mind flayer in their midst. Do you know what this means?
Sí que debo marcharme.
All those people you saved. Most of them will never know what you did. But you know. And so do I. I'll never forget. I need to get you out of here. It was difficult enough smuggling you in here covered in cloaks. It'll only get worse as normalcy returns.
Ven conmigo.
I can't. I'm sorry. We may have saved the world, but I have unfinished business to take care of. I don't want to jeopardize you while I look for my place in this world.
Respetaré tus deseos.
You need to take care of yourself. Keep out of danger. Perhaps there is some way, some unfathomable way we can still see each other eventually. Such a thing must exist, surely. So I refuse to call this farewell. Just until next time.
No sabes si he sonreído o no. De mi cara de odio. Venga ese epílogo.
Since the nether brain
Hombre.
fell, you have continued to evolve. Thought is action. Action is thought. Speech is difficult. Your mind has voyaged to the limits of existence, communing with entities unique and wondrous. But something always calls it back. Back to Faerun. Back to yourself. Back to the beginning. The time before you became what you are. When your tadpole first sang in your mind. You are back there once again when a voice comes to you. Withers, who you know so well.
Este es el epílogo.
It is time, he says, to meet with your allies once again. You dream of them often. And now you will see if your dreams have become their reality.
Thou wert called here, some from above, some below. For with thine bond, together thou hast kept the wheel of fate spinning when it threatened to halt. Though thou wert drawn far apart in the months after the collapse of the Absolute, tonight, fate renews thy bond once more. Thou shouldst take care to preserve it. It is a great weapon, wielded in the hand of good. Go. Know one another once more.
Sí que me faltan habilidades.
Remember the last time I heard the ballad of the endless spring performed. Now there's a ditty worthy of a knee slap.
Beautiful thing. Grander than any.
You must be careful to not overindulge tonight.
Thank Mother
Lest I lose control and slip
Psionic
into their
projection
form.
is holding.
Yajeira, ¿cómo te va a esperar? Espera. A mis calzoncillos. Claro, calzoncillos. Eso es lo que faltaba.
Breathe deep.
I expect there have been other reunions to which I was not.
A familiar sight. Scratch can't quite speak around the thing he has in his mouth.
Como me alegro de que Mustio se haya acordado de imitar a mi compañero favorito.
So am I. I've got a nice home in the city now. A girl named Mindy says I'm her best friend. She's mine too. Also you. I've got so many best friends, I hardly know who to snuggle. I missed your smell, but this thing I found had you all over it. I brought it for you, and I thought perhaps you'd like to throw it?
Me alegro de que te haya ido también desde nuestros viajes.
I certainly have, and I always will. Forever, I think. And so will you.
Este objeto es peligroso, no sé si deberíamos jugar con él.
You know best, but a little fetch never hurt anyone, as far as I know.
Well now, you can make yourself presentable when you have a mind to. Your higher form has brought with it some higher manners then.
se lo convierte en uno de nuestros. He aprendido desde mucho desde la última vez que nos vimos.
I'm glad the months have not been wasted. Particularly as I spent them cleaning up the mess we made of the city. Same twisting alleys for purse pickers. Same wooden buildings ready to get burnt by next year's dragon. Same cisterns overflowing. Huh.
Hay rumores de que la alta ciudad quedó destruida de forma irreparable.
The upper city has been almost entirely rebuilt. That's where the gold is. Even the builder's scaffolds are cleared from the streets. No dust left to sneeze at. Baldurians simply get on with it. Stubbornness, civic spirit, plain stupidity. Perhaps all three. But nothing I will sniff at any longer. Harpers have come from half the world over to lend aid. Farmers, masons, healers. My own son, Jord, has been wooed to their ranks. Already he plans crop cycles in Worm's Crossing. Not so for my daughter. Ryan's rejoined the Flaming Fist. Temporarily, you understand. To organize the craftsmen. Though she spends more time locking up comrades for pocketing aid funds. They might learn a thing or two, if they don't expel her. Again.
Vale, todo bien, pero ¿qué hay de ti? Quiero saber qué has estado haciendo.
There is still much to do. People to house. A Harper network to rebuild. I may have little love for this city, but so long as my family chooses to serve it, I can do no less.
Dadme vuestros presupuestos y ayudaré con los cálculos.
If we can be discreet, I am not one to turn down a sharp mind. Or an even sharper hive mind, in this case. The Harpers welcome any into their ranks, so long as their soul is willing. You've proven you have one. Mind flayer or no. I have lived many lives. It is only right you be allowed to live another. Take this. There is, usually a ceremony. Reciting of oaths, singing of songs. I'm sure we'll get to all of that as the drinks flow. For now, I give you only the most simple Harper creed. To look for the light, and watch always for the dawn. But to enjoy the night while we have it, huh? Now, before this night grows any deeper, I must inspect the refreshments. You'll never know. Some ne'er-do-well might have tampered with the wine.
Minzara, compañera, ¿qué tal?
So, here we are. A gathering of allies at a cold campsite with no servants to attend us and few luxuries to enjoy. Ah, we could have been conquerors. We could have ruled these realms as gods. Do you ever regret that we did not take control of the Netherbrain?
Tú deberías alegrar de más de nadie que el absurdo ya no esté casi acabado contigo.
True. But what better revenge could there be than enslaving the abomination that was the author of my torment? I shall not dwell on the past, though. The future is unwritten and rich with possibilities.
¿Y qué marcas has estado dejando tú, Mintara?
I feared that returning to the Underdark as an apostate of Lolth would be an act of madness. Perhaps it was. If so, It is a madness that fits me well. Rebels swarm to my cause, and even if it takes centuries, I will reclaim my house in Menzoberranzan. And make the Spider Queen bleed.
All this stimulating conversation leaves you hungry. To speak is not enough. You wish to explore the brain of your friend with your beak. With all Minthara's hate, you wonder if her cerebrospinal fluid will be bitter to sip.
Constitución resistirte a la ansiedad.
This is highly illogical. There are plenty of other craniums awaiting your suction, and this is a prize ally. And besides, this brain before you, its endorphins are in a joyous flow. It is a wonderful scent, the odor of friendship.
I expect there have been other
Hombre,
reunions
Will.
that I was not.
To your relief, your projection holds. It took a dozen Gish's talents, a few stolen psi crystals, and 2 10 days of effort to conjure it. You can touch, taste, and talk. But your fleshy body is in limbo, the home of the mystical Githzerai. Once the Githzerai were one with the Githyanki, until bloody civil war severed the Gith species. The Githzerai god king Menyar Ad-Gith sent word through the cosmos. He knows of your rebellion, and he's agreed to parley. Should the Githzerai join you, you could vanquish Flakith in a red dragon's blink.
What's the word on the rebellion? I presume you've cracked open more Kithraki heads than you could possibly count.
13.
Then you did keep count. I should have known you would. I'm afraid since we last met, my corpse count remains a paltry 0. Unless you count the boars I felled on ducal hunts. Rebuilding a city requires a politic mind. A sharp soldering blade, not so much. Bargains must be made. Coin must change hands. Tongues must be held in check. Still, I make the decisions I see fit. The ones I think will restore the city to glory. I serve only Baldur's Gate, not a devil of the first hell.
Echo de menos viajar contigo, me encantaría tenerte cerca. ¿Cómo va a evaluar la ciudad? Supongo que habrán cambiado muchas cosas. No creo que eches de menos a mi Zora, ¿no?
Never. The hexes and eldritch blasts, losing them took getting used to. They left behind a cold abyss where fire once raged. So I stoked a new one. Now the burning comes from within me, not from the depths of Avernus.
Echo de menos viajar contigo, me encantaría tenerte cerca.
I've missed you too. The rush of battles we fought, the heart-to-hearts, the nights around the fire, the comfort of knowing I didn't face the unknown alone. If I had to do it all over again, and I'd rather not, to be clear, I can't imagine not having you at my side.
¿Cómo le va a la ciudad? Supongo que habrán cambiado muchas cosas.
I've had more than a few challenges, given the horns sprouting from my head. The people know me as one of the champions who saved their beloved city. They know Ravenguard blood flows through my veins. The patriarchs, the aristocracy, the councils of Waterdeep and Arm, their arms aren't so wide open. Still, there's no friction that can't be greased with a sly promise or a proposition.
¿Qué le ha pasado al Consejo de los Cuatro de la Puerta de Baldur?
Disbanded, to be formed anew. I don't expect a soldier or street sweeper to see through the schemes of a tyrant like Gortash. But the city's lords and ladies were all too eager to abandon their oaths and bend the knee. Liara Porter is now Grand Duke of the Wilds, Sickle of Chult. Cordula Eltan is the Duke of the Sea Tower, a legacy reborn. And I am Will Ravengard, Grand Duke of the Worm, Heart of the Gate. We will yet be four. Until such time and after, we will enact the will of the People's Parliament. Baldur's Gate is nothing without its citizens, both in the upper and lower. Our duty is to them, and only them.
Cuando llegamos a la ciudad, los objetos estaban armoniosos por el puente. Supongo que las cosas habrán cambiado.
The jewel of the coast will shine ever bright, welcoming the weak and the weary from wherever they hail. We are building new housing, not just shanties, but homes where families can rest their heads, plant gardens, pursue happiness. Amazing what can be done when Parliament and the Council pressure the upper city elites to open their coffers. I'm sure the Silver Shields can make do without a few more jeweled crowns.
El puño ardiente Gortash lo había convertido en sus perros guardianes.
I've entrusted the fist to Cordula Eltan. Who better than a descendant of its founder to guide them?
Turn up. I wasn't sure our withered old friend could live up to his promise. But here we are. At least I assume it's you in there. It's a little hard to tell. How have you been since, everything?
He estado colaborando con el emperador para llevar a cabo nuestros objetivos. No tengo ni que decirte cuáles son. El emperador en que habíamos forzado. Los caballeros de escudo son una fuerza formidable. Me he adaptado a mi nueva forma, de hecho, hasta me resulta agradable.
I am glad. Genuinely. Few would make the sacrifice you did.
¿Cómo te ha ido desde la última vez que nos vimos?
Oh, you know, ups and downs. I haven't seen the sun since the brain fell. I'm reduced to eating vermin once more, and I can't walk the streets lest Cazador finds me. You know, when I say it out loud, there have been decidedly more downs than ups. Almost exclusively downs, actually.
Lo siento, ojalá hubiera podido ayudar.
Well, you've been busy, haven't you? Away having new adventures, living your new life. Although, if you wanted to help now, I certainly wouldn't say no. You're more than capable of facing him. And killing him. One hopes.
Sin duda es un placer matarlo.
Thank you. I can't tell you how much this means. But killing vampires is a decidedly daytime activity. For now, we can simply enjoy the night. We've had quite the journey, you and I. From the moment I first threatened you, I knew you were someone special. Someone to take on the world with. I will miss our time together. But then again, maybe this isn't goodbye. So much as it's, see you later, darling.
¿Tú quién eres?
Are you there, Gale? Isn't this a lovely little gathering?
¿Quién eres tú? Ah, la gata, la gata.
Oh, right. You. Hello.
Debes de ser Sara, es un placer conocerte.
Yes, I'm certain it is. As for you, well, I've heard congratulations are in order. You helped Mr. Dekarios save Baldur's Gate from the Absolute, isn't that right? And you made significant sacrifices to your well-being by the looks of things. I can almost feel Gale here. Among his friends. In you. Some part of him remains, doesn't it?
Los fantasma mágico sigo aquí, si es algo que te refieres.
That thing's no more than a shadow of the real man. Nonsense. Though it captures some of his more insufferable qualities. Oh, what I wouldn't give to snuggle up on his lap one more time. Just once would do.
Luego puedes acurrucarte en mi regazo si
No,
quieres.
I couldn't possibly. Unless, well, perhaps it's not a terrible idea. Gale would be quite pleased to know we've made friends, wouldn't he? Perhaps you'd be willing to come meet Gale's mother sometime? She misses him so. And I know it would do her heart a world of good to discuss her son with someone who knew him as he was.
Será un placer mientras no le dé miedo la visita de un azotamiento, es claro.
Jolly good. I'll tell Mrs. Dekarios to be expecting you. Oh, she'll be delighted. Things just haven't been the same without himself cluttering up the place. Enjoy your party, dear. I've heard you quite deserve a celebration.
Sé que no es Gale de verdad.
Good company, good wine.
Well met. I am a magical projection of Gale of Waterdeep. And if you see this manifestation, that means I have prematurely perished. Alas, on this occasion I appear to have been erased from this plane in both soul and substance. So the usual protocol for revivification cannot be followed. I am, however, available for the duration of this spell to assist with the tying of any loose ends related to my recent departure from mortality.
¿Qué es ese protocolo de resurrección del que hablas?
A sequence of elegantly designed failsafes to be executed in order to reverse the occurrence of my unexpected but impermanent demise. As I am unable to detect any trace of my existence in reach of mortal magic, however, such a protocol would, in this instance, be destined to fail. However, on behalf of my creator, I wish to make abundantly clear that my death was an unfortunate accident, and in no way related to any attempted usurpation of the reigning divinities of the day.
Encontraste la corona de Karsus.
Retrieving the crown from the muddy floor of the Chionthar was surprisingly straightforward, if a little damp. I recall standing on the riverside, the icy chill of Netherese metal in my hands, and then nothing. Gale of Waterdeep was gone. And so was I, until Withers kindly summoned me here to perform my final task. I have been entrusted with the delivery of a letter to be given to one who cared most for me in life. I hope these words do something to ease the tragedy of my untimely and honestly quite unexpected passing. With that, I'm afraid my spell is waning. Is there anything else you need of me before I blink out of existence?
darle un abrazo.
To think I believed godhood was worth losing all this.
Vaya, así que Gale muere. Carta improvisada. Últimas voluntades de este método de Gale de Carios de Waterdeep. Mi madre morena de Carios, dejo mi torre y todo su contenido, excepto los objetos que se detallan con continuación. Pido disculpas por el embrollo. A el misterio le dejo mi colección de tomos y artefactos naturales para que los conserve, se los haga de ellos según le plazca. Cuidado con la orden de vigilantes de magos y protectores. Es posible que desconozcan la existencia de dicha colección. A tarde dejo el contenido de mi biblioteca y esa butaca tan cómoda. A mi camarada, la hoja está a medias, el resto del documento está incompleto.
For 2 months I trained the Knights of the Comet. For 2 more I skewered Kithraki bellies. And for 2 more yet, I traveled through Limbo. I never imagined we'd be standing toe-to-toe on this day, in this place. Nothing but allies, I always told myself. A necessary partnership. But in spite of every strained word, every barbed glance, seeing you brings me even more pleasure than taking a Royal Inquisitor's head.
Me alegro de verte.
It's nice to hear it. It's taken a dozen Gish's talents, a few stolen psi crystals, and 2 10 days of effort to conjure my projection. Worth it, I'd say. I miss this place. This... Fey Run.
¿No estás ahora que no has podido estar aquí en persona?
Shractalor.
Exacto, no he oído de este lugar. ¿Debería?
I wouldn't expect you to. The capital city of the Githzerai, an exiled people, once kin with mine, until the madness of civil war ripped our one sky into 2. Our Gish sent word of the rebellion to their god king Zareth Minyaragith through the cosmos. He's agreed to parley. It's fallen to me to secure an alliance.
Espero que la guerra de la ECL es una misión diplomática. La mejor lección para esta tarea, tu lengua es tan competente como tu espada.
My blade is keen as ever. But it was you who showed me that a proper victory doesn't always require a razor-sharp edge. Sometimes, a sincere plea is more persuasive than a dagger against the neck. Minyaragith is an ascetic. He reached out in good faith. This is his way. It is in this spirit that I must meet him. And if he refuses, I carry on. Gravity pulls me in but one direction. I am the comet. I will not rest until I burn Vlaakith's bones to ash and smash her phylactery to pieces. My people will be free. But you've heard that refrain before. Zealous, bossy, insistent. All part and parcel of my undeniable charm.
Cuando volveré a verte.
Soon. When the comet has risen. When the Lich Queen has crumbled to dust. I miss this place. More to the point, I miss you. I wouldn't even deny it with Vlaakith's vorpal blade at my neck. Though, I'd rather it not come to that. Now go. Mingle a bit. That's the word, right? Mingle. I'll be back one day. The Overgod himself couldn't keep me away.
you there, Gale? Isn't this a lovely little gathering?
A ver, ¿quién me falta? ¿Dónde están los que me faltan?
A night without care. No worry, no obligation. It's been too long.
¿Dónde está Nightson? Halcyon.
You would think someone of my vintage would be inured to the passage of time. Yet these past 6 months have seemed endless without your company. But now, our paths cross once more.
Tal como lo digo de la naturaleza dicta que sí.
Just as I hoped they would, more like. The Oak Father has been kind to me this past while. Yet I cannot forget the bond we all forged together. It is one that can weather any distance, any passage of time. I know it can, for I feel the longing for old friends in my heart each day.
Parece que debería abrir un trago.
Well, I am not normally given to imbibing, but this is a special occasion, and I believe our dear Withers procured a fine honey mead as part of the celebratory victuals. Even the most ascetic of nature's servants would be tempted by such an elixir, but that can wait. Your company is what truly drew me. Now, we have much to catch up on. Do not allow me to ramble on. I am eager to hear all you've been doing.
Podría haberte hablado otro día, pero ya que insistes.
Please, spare no details. I shall not lie. I have an ulterior motive in wishing to hear all. It is the children, you see. My charges. Their appetite for bedtime tales is greater than I could ever have anticipated. Another story, Daddy Halsin. Another is the chorus that greets me each nightfall. They have all but exhausted my repertoire in but a few short months. No mean feat given the lifetime I have lived. I desperately need new material, please. My reputation is at stake.
Deberías de haber sabido que contabas cuentas antes de dormir, te habría prestado más atención el campamento. No, supongo que tendrán que esperar a ser mayores para escuchar algunos de tus relatos. Muy bien, a ver qué tengo.
I am all ears, though I never cared for that phrase. A rather unsettling image.
Militar de Halsing con relatos desde los últimos 6 meses.
You have kept yourself busy. I expected no less, in truth. I shall be able to keep the children enthralled for a few more nights yet, thanks to you. And should you wish to retell of your exploits in person, well, I shall not object to a night off. Now, it would be cruel of me to hoard you all to myself for the evening, as much as I would like to. I shall leave you to the others for now, unless there was anything else.
Cuéntame cómo te ha ido, querías crear un nuevo asentamiento, ¿no?
Our community grows rapidly. In 6 months, we have turned what was once a shadowy wasteland into a true home for all. In another 6 months, I would wager the scars of the past will be entirely invisible, even to those who remember them. The old masonry of Moonrise Towers and Rythwin have been repurposed into new homes, and the land is rich with harvests and bountiful trees. Nature and civilization are in harmony, stronger together.
Suena estupendo.
It is, truly. Though a more complex, evolving beast than I could ever have anticipated. I spoke often of balance before. Only now do I realize the balance is no simple, fixed thing. We welcome folk from all walks of life, anyone who wishes for a new start. Naturally, it can be chaotic at times, but it is a thrilling sort of chaos. It thrives in ways I could never have dreamed of.
Tendré que verlo con mis propios ojos.
You are welcome whenever you like, and for however long you please.
¿Qué me cuentas de Daniel y Oliver? ¿Les ves de vez en cuando?
Quite often. They come and go as they please, but with so many playmates to avail of, they are far from strangers. They ask after you often. What you did for them will never be forgotten. I can see it in the land all around me. But more importantly, I see it in their faces whenever they visit. To make a child smile is to dabble with the power of gods as far as I'm concerned.
Supongo que te sigue gustando Bar en forma de oso, ¿no?
I spend half my days in ursine form. The children demand it. I had a score of them taking turns riding upon my back just days ago. I'm glad they are so comfortable with the Oakfather's creations. But they must learn that not all are as amiable as I am. A lesson for another time, though. They deserve some joy. As for roaming, that impulse has dwindled, I must admit. Perhaps because I have found where I am meant to be.
Parece que has sentado la cabeza más de lo que esperaba. Quería que encontré tu naturaleza.
As did I, but somehow I feel like I no longer need to roam. That I have found something worthy laying roots for. Amazing what can be discovered about oneself, even at a ripe old age.
¿Qué seguro que volverás sigues aquí en contacto?
On occasion, but I prefer not to interfere. Francesca of the High Forest is Archdruid now, and by all accounts, she has proven to be a steady and wise influence. Even Korga may yet find true balance, thanks to her influence.
Dar vuelta para marcharte.
Before you go, I have something for you. Just a little keepsake, really. Do you remember how I told you I like to whittle? I made this. Ducks are my favorite, but I thought they were particularly fitting in this case. They are migratory birds, of course, traveling far and wide with the turn of the seasons. Yet, they always find their way back to where they belong. Just like old friends find themselves back in each other's company.
Me encanta, gracias.
Just a token to remember me by. Now, I've taken up enough of your time. Go on. Enjoy the festivities. We can speak again later.
Vale, ahora me falta la...
I expect there have been other reunions to which I was not.
Termina la aventura. No, pero falta... Falta mi novia. Falta corazón sombrío.
Remember him fondly, won't you?
Falta corazón sombrío. Así está aquí.
Starting to wonder if you'd show up.
Esta es la broma, he contado los días.
Honestly, so have I. Our Come here, will you? It's been forever.
Yo sin cabeza. Ah, vale, mi cabeza estaba abajo, vale.
You feel a little more substantial than before. Less camping and scrounging off the land, I take it.
Yo te digo, he dormido graso como para 2 vidas y eso se acabó. Me lo tomaré como un cumplido, a ti tampoco te veo malo.
I suppose I do, don't I? I'm glad you seem well. Truly.
El sentimiento no es mutuo.
I had no doubt. But I'm glad to hear you say it all the same.
Como es natural, te preguntarás qué he estado haciendo este tiempo.
Must I? You presume a great deal. I'm joking. Of course I want to know. Tell me all.
Decirle que he estado viviendo una existencia muy apacible y que esto te alegra sobremanera. Jactarte de las aventuras que he vivido desde que vuestros caminos se separaron.
Do you ever rest? Think of all those poor, budding adventurers looking to make a name for themselves. Take some time off and give them a chance, why don't you? Hopefully these meetups will become a regular occurrence. It's not that I miss the tadpoles, but at least it brought us together. Now we've got to make the extra effort ourselves.
No te preocupes, seguiremos en contacto.
I'm sure we will, but let's be proactive about it all the same. We're more than capable. After all, we've faced down bigger threats than wrangling together a few social calendars. Don't be a stranger.
Ya está con ella tampoco.
I expect there have been other reunions to which I was not invited.
Vale. Pues... Con Milly paso de hablar. No sé ni quién es, ni me importa. Pues nada, terminar la aventura.
Thou feelst it still. She is not here. She who was the boldest. Hast thy thoughts been with brave Karlach often?
¿No puedes traerla de vuelta?
She would not come.
Puede ser fuerte, es lo que hubiera querido.
Truly? Most of the time it was she who was strong for thee. Didst thou not employ her ever to carry all of thine loot?
¿Eso es un chiste?
It is said that mortals require levity, that it is the antidote to any of the darkest hours. And who knew that better than she? In but a dozen 10 days, an entire life was lived. More than mortal years. Mortal centuries were hers. Thy band, thy bond, gave that life to her.
Era como una hermana para mí.
Not like thou wert her kin. It was written in her heart. Surely thou knowest that. In the fugue plain, her soul burns so bright, it pains the gods to look upon. Recall that in time all changeth and all is rejoined. Thou shalt be with her again.
Supongo. Creo que me he puesto al día con todo el mundo y ahora qué.
What indeed? Prick up thy ears and listen. The balance of the world restored. The balance of these lives, mortal and otherwise, brought to account. Hear me, thou heroes, wastrels, friends. I have waited long to tell you these words. It is over. For now. Thou played thy part in weaving the fabric of fate itself, but for every thread you sewed, so did the gods unravel another. Sleep, rest, revel, but be ready, for thou mayst yet be needed. Until we meet again, I wish thee every possible fortune, health, wealth, love, and above all, problems worth solving.
Por los mejores amigos con los que podía soñar.
To you.
Cerebromorfosis. Transformación de azulamentes. ¿Ya está? ¿Y el logro de Modo Honor qué?
There thou art, the dead three. Thy faces gods, thy actions barely worthy of the name. Didst truly believe thy ploy would succeed? Didst believe I would not notice? Thou soughtst to bolster thy strength by taking away the souls of mortals. But souls vanish when their hosts become mind flayers. Didst think the other gods would not notice? Gods thou may be, yet thou hast proven thyself fools, everyone. The supplication of Bane, the whimper of Baal, the death mule of Merkel. Felled by mortals, I overestimated thee. They did not. Vermin, away. Thou wilt trouble us no more.
Sigo sin logro de Modo de Honor. Bueno, ahora sí, se acabó la serie. Chao.